All right. So for this morning and tomorrow morning, you guys will be stuck with this freckled face. Antonio is out of town. He is meeting again with the same people that we told that he met with last week. The reasoning I was here. So we are going to continue with transcending inconsistency. Today we're talking about lessons in imperfection. So before we even get started, who here is a perfectionist? All right, just us three. Okay. Oh,
So
Talisha.
much anymore as I've gotten older, but I always like things neat and organized, but growing out of it.
Trust me, I am on the journey of growing out of perfection. I learned a lesson from my son. He was in school and he flipped out in school, and I got a phone call from the teacher. And so after school, when I picked him up, I asked him, I was like, so what happened? And there were a couple of different things that happened. The first thing that happened was they were playing a game and he missed the answer. And that triggered his anger. And then he was coloring. He was cutting something out of a paper, and he accidentally cut into the line which cut into the picture, and that triggered him. And it dawned on me at that point, if I had not had the level of self-awareness that I had at the time of this conversation, I would have flipped out on my kid. I would have flipped completely out on him. You're not supposed to do that. I would have went whole left side black mom on him. And y'all know what that is. Y'all know. Don't you ever, and what is wrong? I taught you better than that. But in all honesty, I didn't teach him better than that. He learned from mommy that if it's not perfect, you get angry, you get upset. And I had a conversation with him, and I said, repeat with mommy. There's no such thing as perfection. And he repeated it. And I said, okay, repeat it again. And I kept having him repeat it until I felt he caught it. Now, did he catch it 100%? No, because he's also very smart and he knows how to play mommy. So he smiled and I kept going because I knew, I was like, he just doing that because he know if he smile, I'm gonna let it go. And I didn't let it go. I kept going until I felt in him, he's like, okay, I got it. And that's what we go by, because there is no thing as perfection. And see, as humans in this human experience, we have a spiritual side. That's how we're all connected. We are each connected through spirit, through source, through God. And that spirit part of us is the part of us that seeks meaning in life, connection to people, growth beyond this world, this physical world that we're in. And spirituality acknowledges that being human means we are not perfect, that we make mistakes, and we can be inconsistent in our thoughts and actions. Now, I'll be the first to raise my hands. How many of you are inconsistent in your thoughts and in your actions? Sweet. Okay. The inconsistency in your actions is because of the inconsistency in your thoughts.
One more time for myself in the notes.
Inconsistency in your actions is due to inconsistency in your thoughts. And then Tony always says thought plus emotion equals creation. I see Mr. Phil leaned up, so go. Oh, I thought he was on mute. So, but one of the things that I absolutely love about spirituality, it encourages us to approach these imperfections with understanding and compassion rather than judgment. That's why when you have lack of love for self, you have lack of love for others and you're extremely judgmental. But when you sit down and you do what my grandmother told me her mama told her, you worry about the dirtiness in your own house and not about the dirtiness in somebody else's house, you don't have time to judge others. You don't have time to go without understanding of someone else's imperfections. We, years ago, it was New Year's Eve, and my dad's neighbor was cutting his yard at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And everybody around me was like, what is wrong with him? He is so crazy. Who does that? And I don't know, for some reason, my thought process was different. My thought process was either he's really stressed out and it's the new year and he needed a way to blow off steam and that was the best way he knew how, or maybe every New Year's that was a tradition he had with someone else, or maybe he's just really going through it and needed to think. And when he's on the lawnmower, ain't nobody gonna bother him. Or he could have been pissy drunk. I don't know. Okay. But it was not for me to judge, because I'm one of those people who, when I'm heavily stressed or something, everything shuts down or I go for a ride and you may not hear from me for a good 35 minutes to an hour. I may end up in downtown Houston looping around and well, actually, no, I will never end up in downtown Houston. It's too many one-way streets. Let me tell y'all something. Sidebar. Coming
Who's
from
around getting lost downtown?
Grace. Look, when I was younger, I used to partake in the adult beverages, okay? Not younger as in under 21, but younger as in that 21 to 25 stage, that, okay. I used to partake in adult beverages, and for some reason, it was daytime. That's how late I'd been out. The sun was up. I ended up on a one-way street, going the wrong way. And I'm driving, and I'm like, I'm looking at all these cars driving towards me. And I'm like, wait a minute, something's not right with this picture. Wake up, Deanna, something not right. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm on a one-way street. A cop was driving towards me as I turned in. So no, I don't do downtown, period. Okay, I don't like it sober. I definitely don't like it when I was drinking adult beverages and on my way home. Okay, back to the story. But being okay and being understanding and compassionate about your imperfections makes it easier to have grace and mercy on others. See, we always say, and you always hear people say, you can't take care of others until you take care of yourself. You can't be right with others until you're right with yourself. Well, that's true. If you can't show grace and mercy to yourself, how are you going to show grace and mercy to others? And doing that is being okay with the imperfections, being okay with the shadow side of who you are. And every time you make a mistake or you encounter inconsistencies, it's not the world after you. The world is not going to end. What it is it is a lesson that life is offering you. Now, whether you want to learn from this lesson or whether you want to fight this lesson, sidebar, don't be like me and fight, learn from it, back on conversation, then go with it. Ask the question, what am I supposed to learn from this? When I tell you I ask myself that question every day, because every day I bump up against something, I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? I'm gonna need to answer quick on this one, because this one's really bumping. This one bumping real hard. I'm gonna need God, universe, I'm gonna need some answers quick. What am I supposed to learn from this? Because if you don't tell me, I'm gonna take matters into my own hands, okay? And we don't want to do that part. When you take matters into your own hands, things do not pan out well. But when you sit back and you say, okay, What is triggering me and why? What lesson am I supposed to learn from this? And the one thing that I've learned is your triggers are unlearned lessons.
Shut up.
That's what I have learned. Your triggers are unlearned lessons. Because when you get triggered and you learn the lesson, your triggers they're still there because you're chemically programmed to respond to them at this point. But they become less and less when you learn the lesson from them. When you think you have surpassed something, or you've overcome something, and you still get triggered, it means there was multiple lessons in that situation that you did not learn yet. So your triggers are unlearned lessons. And if you pause for a second and understand that perfection is null and void, there is no such thing as perfection. God did not create perfection in the world. There is no blade of grass that is the same exact length as the next. There's no tree that is the exact same as the next. Everything is perfect in its imperfection. But we think it's supposed to be perfect in perfection. No. The greatest gift is learning how to just be okay with who you are, and you're not worried about how dirty somebody else's house is. You only focus on the fact, okay, look, I got a cup stain, a cup ring on my coffee cup, on my coffee table. I got some rust around the sink, but that's okay. I'm just gonna buff this out with some pine sol and some Lysol. I forgot the pledge, lemon pledge. I'm gonna buff this out with some lemon pledge. Work that out. And this stain in the sink, I'm just gonna pour some bleach on it and work that out. We're gonna be okay with this. I can't control the hard water that comes out of the sink from the city. Therefore, we're gonna work this out. Do the same in yourself. Okay, I'm a little broken here. So let me have some grace and mercy on myself to understand that I'm not perfect. Because when you search when you have no grace and mercy, when you have no forgiveness, when you have no understanding of yourself, that same perfection that you seek in yourself that is non-existent, you're going to put on other people, and you're going to push people away. They're going to make the smallest mistakes and you're going to push them away. We do it with our kids. Well, some people, we're past that. Y'all don't do these things. But that's how it happens. That's how these quote unquote generational curses happen. They're not curses. They're just learned behaviors that we have not unlearned. They are triggers that we didn't learn the lessons to. And we pass these triggers and we pass these down to our kids because, well, I wasn't perfect for my mom, but you're going to be perfect because I'm going to be the perfect mom. And because I'm trying to be the perfect mom, I'm putting massive amounts of pressure on a baby who just got here, who has no clue what's going on. And that is not fair to that kid. The video that Antonio showed us in Pathbender said that from when we're born to age 7, we're on automatic download. So what are we automatically putting out there for our kids to download so they can learn? If I'm not perfect, I'm in trouble. But if we teach them imperfection is a part of life, it's a part of the inconsistencies of life, they will grow up a lot less stressed. My niece and nephew walk around stressed as hell, and they are 10. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, hell, if they stressed out like that and they 10, what the hell am I doing to my kid? And it really makes you think. Imperfection is a part of life. It's a journey of getting to know the real you beneath the surface. And a lot of us don't like the real us.
I'm sorry. Do you remember what you just said? Do you remember what you just said?
I remember exactly what I said.
Please say that again.
Life is like a journey of getting to know the real you beneath the surface. Because by recognizing and reflecting on all of your experiences, you actually learn more about yourself, who you are, your values, and your aspirations. So the first thing I want to talk about is shifting our perspectives on mistakes. I am one, not y'all, this one, me, this human experience right here. I am one that when mistakes are made, well, used to be, when mistakes are made, I flip the hell out. I spaz out. I go into high levels of anxiety, high levels of stress. And when I say high levels, I mean not in the stomach, pain in the chest, can't sit up straight, can barely breathe levels of intensity. Because I'm not supposed to make mistakes. And I got to a point, you get tired of living in a constant state of that. And then I started learning things. I started learning how your emotional stresses can manifest physically. I am what they call quote unquote emotional eater. Well, I used to be. So when I get highly stressed, high with anxiety, my go-to, Miss Susan, this is used to. I used to do this, Miss Susan, okay? Because what I'm about to say, Miss Susan will fly down to Texas and whoop my tail, okay? Used to. My go-to used to be, if y'all know, if everyone is familiar with Jack in the Box, the ultimate bacon cheeseburger with a large curly fry. And then I had to get my buttermilk ranch to dip my curly fries in. I had to have some sour cream to dip my hamburger in. Don't judge me. This is my emotional eating meal, okay? With a large Coke. And then on top of that, I would get 2 of the cheesecakes. And at the time, Dairy Queen was hot. And, well, where I lived, there was a Dairy Queen. We don't see them often. I used to go and get Grace. Well, I used to go and get the hot fudge from Dairy Queen. And I would pour that on top of my cheesecake. This is what I say used to, Miss Susan. This is what I used to do. Now I don't even eat like that anymore. And when I get a sweet tooth, I grab some fruit. And I'm so
That
proud.
make you feel good, or did you get like sick and to your stomach and have to go to sleep? Or
It relieved the emotional pain,
yeah,
but I instantly had to get some sleep because it shut me down.
yeah,
It like completely shut me down. And I felt miserable later because I ate so much at one time. I got that miserable full, but I just kept eating. So what I got tired of being that physical uncomfortable after eating. And then I was like, why am I eating like this? Like, this is not a regular meal for me. And it got to a point where I was eating that, if not every day, every other day, for like about a good month or so. And I was like, okay, something's not right with this picture. That's what happens when you don't sit with your mistakes, when you view your mistakes as life altering instead of a lesson in life to learn. So when I started shifting my mindset in regards to mistakes and understanding, and it took Antonio again. When Antonio started coaching me, Dawn was 10 months old. Dawn is 8. This is how long this took me. I was born in the year 2023 when I learned this, okay? When I started, I got to a point where I was like, okay, because Antonio kept saying there's no such thing as mistakes. There's no such thing as mistakes. So I started taking that on. Okay, there's no such thing as mistakes. Well, if there's no such thing as mistakes, then what the hell is it? Because I was taught either it's perfect or it's a mistake. Which one is it? If it ain't either one of those, what's going on? And that's when what's my next best move? What is it that I'm supposed to learn from this? And when I started asking that question, my mistakes became life lessons, lessons that only the universe and God could teach me, not lessons that my mom could teach me, not lessons that my dad could teach me, but lessons that I had to learn for me to grow, for me to be okay with my personal imperfections. Like I used to think that my freckles were imperfections.
Oh, they're cute, cute, cute.
Thank you.
They make you unique to you.
Thank you so much, Miss Susie. Because let me tell y'all something, they're not just on my face, they're on my shoulders. They're right here. Like there is and they're like literally all over. And the more I started noticing them, the more I was like, I'm never gonna be cute. You know, freckles aren't cute. Because as a kid, I used to be teased. It's like, hey, connect the dot face. And I was like, what? Really? And when my dad did it, it didn't bother me because he used to say, come here. And I used to walk up to him. He used to take his finger. He used to do this. And I'm like, what are you doing, Dad? He's like, well, I'm trying to see what picture comes out. And I just look at him and laugh because I don't know. It's something different when your dad, well, I'm a daddy's girl. So it's something different when my dad did it versus when I'm walking through school and they're like, hey, connect the dot face, or I'm bright. And when I was younger, I was a little bit more on the brighter side. So I used to be light bright, you know, all kinds of, and when you are not comfortable and okay with your imperfections, it causes things to happen. But as I told, yes, ma'am.
Like programs like Weight Watchers, 3/4 of it is, they wanted me to speak to their people, and I was getting ready to, and I went there, and it was like a week before we shut down with the pandemic. So then that all ceased, but they have people come in and speak to everyone, and it's real positive. And then people can open up and share, because exactly what you said, about going to eat, a lot of people, I sat there and listened to them, and all that they do. And, and I grew up with brothers that had weight problems. And my brother, actually, he lost over 100 pounds on Weight Watchers when he was in France. He was at France Weight Watchers. So he did stuff with them. So when they asked me, it was a fond memory because, my brother passed. And that's a big, big part of it. So then for me, it was the opposite because, I felt ugly. I didn't feel good enough. I felt different. I felt like a leper growing up. And I covered myself. I had psoriasis, they said, from head to toe. It was everywhere. And it was awful looking. It was way more than freckles, so I covered myself up. I wore long sleeves and pants, and then when summer would come, I would get such anxiety but the one thing that helped it was the sun. So I would be laying out in March, if there was sun, to try to, that's back before tanning beds and all, just to try to get it to go away. And so I always was really dark because with sun, because of that. So I felt that, but I couldn't eat. If I ate French fries, I'd be doubled over for a week in pain. So I liked all that, but it kept me from eating those things. But, you know, growing up with three brothers that had a lot of those things, same issues, I understand and relate to you on it. And, you know, it's something that you're going to be able to help a lot of other people with. I know.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That adds to the imperfections, because if we give ourselves mercy and grace, we're able to extend that to others. Because as a kid, I would have hugged on Susan. I would have hugged on Miss Susan so much, because my heart would have hurt for her, because I can walk around in the sun as a kid. I used to play outside barefoot as long as I was back in the house before it got dark outside. If I beat the lights, I was good. If I missed the lights, there was a problem. But that would have hurt me, because as a kid, no kid wants to be bundled up all the time because of an insecurity or an imperfection. You know, and when you have understanding and compassion for others, they notice that. Like I met a girl, I was looking for an apartment years ago with my ex, and I walked in and it was one of my classmates. And she had so much wonderful things to say about me. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, I wish I knew the girl you was talking about. And I was her. But because I let inconsistencies and imperfection and mistakes run my life, that girl that she was talking about, she was kind of no longer existent. You know, she was saying, yeah, they called me Dee Dee. My name was Deanna Dedrick, and it was DEA. Like that was the first and last name, same three letters. So it's Dee Dee. And I was nicknamed that in kindergarten, and that followed me through high school. And she said, yeah, you know, Dee Dee, anytime I was sad, I knew I could just go to Dee Dee, and she would just be, she gave the best hugs. Grace, I still give those hugs. So it goes back, it's day to day. She gave the best hugs, and she was always a good listener, and she never judged me. Like, these were the words out of her mouth, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, who is this chick? Like, I'd like to meet her. But that's, as a kid, school was a place of freedom for me, freedom to be me. So when those around me were hurting, I was used to be called goofy. And I took that as a badge of honor, because no, you cannot be my friend and be sad around me. We don't do these things. That's not for us. So when you, in that, I learned, because you get tired. Like, you know how the phrase, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired? Yeah, when you get to that point, you be like, okay, so I'm gonna change. Hell, I had a conversation with myself yesterday. I was like, look, we ain't doing this. What you doing? I want to do this. I done told you. We doing it differently this time. I don't like how that feels. And this is a conversation I'm having with myself, because you have to have these self conversations. And when you change your thoughts, your actions are only a reflection of your thoughts. So when you change your thoughts, you change your actions. And my thought process was, look, I'm tired. We ain't doing this no more. Every time we do it your way, it don't work. So we're doing something different. So with me sharing that, I want to know, now I'm opening it up to everyone. How can we change our mindset to view mistakes as opportunities for growth rather than something to be ashamed of? And it's hard, but each of you here have done that. So how have you changed your mindset to view your mistakes as opportunities to grow from, rather than they be things to be ashamed of?
Well, instead of being an angry kid all the time and people not wanting to be around me, I just kept, I had Antonio in the back of my head say, hey, do you want friends? Okay, yeah, you may want to stop being angry. So, and I really realized and figured out you can't do things you like to do when you're angry. You're angry. And so if you want to get money, money got to come from people. So if you're mad at people, they're not going to give you money. Yeah, you're not going to do that. And so, now, don't get it twisted. The anger still flares up. It's just that I stop and pause and say, hey, okay, what are you really mad about? Is this really worth being mad over? No, 10 times out of 10, it's no. Okay, great. Okay, somebody did you wrong. It's okay. They'll be all right. If I go and talk to Deanna or Antonio, they'll put things in perspective for me. Lord, if I want that harsh punch in your face, I'm gonna talk to Antonio. But if I want that light, hey, think about it like this: punch in the face, I go to Deanna. They still punch you in the face, both of them, okay? But one has a soft toe. But I know who to go to, who to talk to. I know I could go to Uncle Roby Robe, and Uncle Roby Robe will be the same way. What are you doing? Yeah. So
He
yeah,
gonna be Uncle Romy Rom like, I love you. You know I love
right,
you.
right.
I'm gonna give it to you straight.
But he gonna give it to you like an uncle, okay? But seriously, yeah. I always reflect. I reflect back sometimes, like, just seeing how far I've come from my anger, because I remember the last time I was really angry was when I was teaching. And I remember my mom asking me while I was teaching one time, she said, why are you so depressed? I didn't know I was depressed. 'Cause, and then I was like, okay, yeah, this environment I was in, I didn't like it. I knew I needed to get out. And now that I'm not in that anymore, I'm a lot happier. So yeah, I get it, Talisha. I know. Okay. You got to be ready for it. But but yeah, you just I I have to reflect every time. Like, look how far you've come. It's still a work in progress, and it's always gonna be a work in progress because, like Dee said, it's that chemical, imbalance in you. Hey, I've developed, what is it? I don't
A
know.
chemical addiction to it. You've
Right,
developed an addiction to it.
develop an addiction to it. So with any addiction, you gotta constantly work at it. You know. Um, but yeah, as far as being mad for the whole day, no, that does not happen anymore. You give me 5 minutes, depending on what it is, maybe 10 minutes. But other than that, it's good. And I am now working on, because details me all the time. I'm gonna need you to calm down and stop getting so scared when it comes to money. I know, okay? So so instead of saying I want the fear to go away, no, because I'm gonna get more fear. Um, I just work on it and say, hey, try to use this fear to your advantage. You want to, what the things that you want to do. So, hey, not a fear of, man, if I don't get this done, I'm afraid I'm gonna get this done. No, you know what you have to do. So go out there and get it done. That way, hey, we've been doing some good things with the ACS lead. And so Antonio has been complimenting me, and he just don't throw out compliments like that. So he tells me I've been doing a good job. Okay, I have that responsibility. I'm gonna call it a responsibility gene, but because I always want people to know that they can count on me. If you ask me to do something, I want to go get it done. So that's me. Thank you for letting me share.
No, thank you for sharing. And Talisha, I saw your hand. I'm gonna come to you next. Grace, I have a quick question for you. How did you having compassion and kindness for yourself help you with overcoming your anger?
Oh, okay. The other thing, because I always had two people, Antonio and Deanna, tell me, "Girl, relax, okay, relax." And so I started to tell myself that, hey, you gotta relax. It's okay. You don't have to be so serious all the time. Relax, some breaths. It's not that serious. It's not that bad. It's probably not bad at all. It's just what you think is going on in your head. And so I think it was maybe 2 days ago, I was playing stuff in my head. It's like, man, I can't do this because this. I say, calm down. Because if you don't, you're not gonna be able to get this what you want. So calm down. It's okay. You got something else coming. It's in the works. You got something else coming. It's slowly coming, but you know it's coming. So just be grateful. Oh, there is also a morning mantra that I do that I got on YouTube. I've been meaning to send it to you, D. I'm gonna send it to you today. It's a
Ooh,
morning mantra. They say to send it to you. They say to say it 8 times because 8 is, new beginning. And it's four sentences. Just for today, I will let go of worry. Just for today, I will let go of anger. Just for today, I will be grateful for all my blessings. Just for today, I will be kind to every living being. Do that every morning. So yeah.
be lucky. I'm gonna need that.
I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
that should be mandatory. We all need to have that. I need to wake up to that every morning.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm just gonna post it in chat, Grace, and put it in the notes. Post it in chat and put it in the notes. There we go.
That needs to be embroidered on a pencil, on a pillow.
Yeah. Oh, pillowcases. Who? I never thought about pillowcases for merchandising. Come on, Mr. Phil. Grace, go ahead, put that in your merchandise for you, for your brand. Go and put that in there. Yes, we all need some of that. Thank you for sharing that, Grace. Because yeah, I'm gonna print it. Me personally, I'm gonna print it out and stick it right underneath my calendar. That hangs on my wall. It's eye level, so I can't miss it. Go ahead, Talisha.
Okay, guys, so I'm gonna be in and out because I'm on like a call I'm trying to resolve. But if this person don't be able to help me, I'm going to hang up with them and start all over. But in the meantime, if I click off, that's what this is about. I'm kind of battling what y'all saying right now because this morning I had that feeling of what currently just happened to me. And I'm taking it as if, okay, like I woke up out of my sleep early this morning, just like, no, that was just wrong. Like I started reviewing some documents to see what happened was true and if it was rightfully done, right?
Picasso.
Sorry.
Uh-uh.
No.
Oh, no, you're fine. So what I'm saying is, without saying what happened, I try to look at legal ways of solving this or seeing ways that maybe solution, maybe we need to fight for this because there's so many other people that this may have happened to. And looking at codes and stuff, nothing that has happened to me was legally done properly. There's nowhere in the handbook where it shows that they were rightfully able to do this. And so I was a little distraught and I was just like, anger over the situation. But at the same time, it's like, Sushi, you done forgave the people, but yet you're still holding in the anger, so I need to release the anger and walk in love. And then I also need to, and I feel like it's a daily process, honestly, because one moment I forgive you and the next moment I'm just like, okay, no, I'm not gonna let that slide, and I'm fighting that. I'm constantly fighting that. And I feel like I need help, but that's where I'm at right now. And this morning, honestly, I had to sit outside and kind of take it in. They just hung up on me. Oh no. All right. Be with y'all in a minute. Sorry about that. So basically I'm lost, y'all. I'm really lost at this moment. I keep trying to tell myself positive affirmations. I keep knowing that God will fight my battles, but then there's still that relationship with him where I was like, I know he's gonna be there, but how long I gotta wait? Right. It's like I'm putting him on a time frame and it's so wrong, but it's just like, you saw the injustice and I gotta wait. I just don't understand that part.
But hold on real quick. By a show of hands, how many of y'all be like, look, You taking too long. I know you gonna fight my battle, but you taking too long. So Talisha, you're not alone in that one. We all we've been there, okay? Keep going.
So for me right now, it's just staying humble in the midst of the situation that has happened and fighting my emotions, honestly, because inside of me, I want to be that kid that just rip up everything. Like if y'all can see the thoughts in my mind,
Don't tell
just
temper tantrum.
turn the house upside down,
Yep.
and the house ain't did nothing wrong to me. It's just how I'm feeling inside,
Put it on the table.
So yeah, right now I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out my next move. God clearly told me that Deanna's my witness of what I should do. I was reading this book, y'all, and the lady said something very clear to me. I think Antonia may have said it before too, but she said she saw her dad when he lost his business, and had to start all over, how he treated his family, how he treated the kids, and all those things. And then the what got me is when she said she saw her dad be a slavery to failure. And that caught me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm using what happened to my business prior, and I'm being a slavery to failure, because I keep telling myself, yes, God told me to walk in this, but then I'm like, well, what if I fail? Why is that what if in my head? God already said, hey, this is what you need to be doing, So when she said, I was like, oh my gosh, this is talking to me right now. And Deanna told me before, she was like, Talisha, you think God's going to tell you to do something and then not give you the steps or the help afterwards, like give you the steps to tell you what to do next, And then I was just like, aha. But it's just like, yes, Deanna's telling me all this. Yes, I'm watching all these motivational speeches. Yes, I'm praying. However, when I'm sitting alone and not doing those things, I'm back into that self-soaking. How can I say? I don't even know how to pronounce it or what to say in that. I'm just in that funk, like that, just sitting there, just wanting to blame the world. Yes, exact word, self-sabotage. I'm just wanting to blame the world, not wanting to do what I need to do, but just want injustice to get justice, if that makes sense. So that's what I want to share, guys.
No, thank you for sharing. That made perfect sense. I saw Mr. Phil lean towards his. Okay, go ahead. He unmuted. I'm not saying nothing. Go ahead, Mr. Phil.
I got this. I've done programs for lawyers where they get continuing education credits, and one lawyer had a sign on his desk: justice is in heaven. Down here, we simply practice the law.
You heard what he said. Talisha, how many of y'all, because I need her to see this. How many of y'all have been there, walked through it at the exact same place Talisha is right now? How many of y'all have been there? Look, and Chef J put a big me in the chat. You are not alone. There's a part of you said, I forgave them. But that little Talisha, the one we had a conversation with the other day, y'all excuse my language. What she's saying is, you got me up. If you think I'm going to let this slide, that's what's going on. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. They got little Talisha, they got Leisha messed up.
But Deanna, we told Leisha to sit back though.
That don't mean
but she keep creeping back up.
She gonna come back up. She gonna come back up. And what you do is you say, okay, Leisha, I get it. I know. They pissed you off. They got you messed up. You ready to go flip a table. You ready to go you been ready to go kick in some doors, flip some tables, and tell these people who they really messing with. I get it. Because all the time, y'all heard me, right? All the time, Nicole be on it. She be ready, okay? She be, you can ask Grace. Me and her to have some conversations. She be like, D. I'm like, I know, Grace. I know. Just let me get it out. what helps me is having that conversation with myself. In Exodus 14:14. Y'all, I know I keep saying it, but it's a reason that's in the Bible. Okay. It's a reason that one verse is in the Bible. And I'm gonna paraphrase it for you. I'm gonna break it down to Deanna's message version. Okay. And this is what it say. I'm gonna fight your battles for you, Talisha. But go sit your ass down somewhere, shut up, and let me do what I gotta do. Okay. That's how I took it. I felt like that's what God was telling me. So I'm just relaying the message, how I received it.
He did that verse because he knew you was coming.
He
You know
knew
what? Deanna is coming. I might have to, yeah.
He knew it, Grace. He knew it. He said, this one right here, I'm gonna have to rein her in because this one right here, she just do too much. Let me just pull in real quick. Okay. Sit down. Shut up. Let me fight your battle for you. When we get to a point in life where we don't have compassion for ourselves, or we feel like no one has ever had compassion for us, there's a part of us that's always fighting for us. When you give that little voice of, when you give that a voice, you acknowledge, yes, while you have forgiven them, Talisha, yes, you still pissed. That hurt. You got me jacked up because you lied on me. You got me jacked up because you, this is me. You got me messed up because you think I'm stupid. You think I'm blind. You treat me like I'm some kind of fool. I only look like this. Let me show up and show you who I really am. That's what's going through you because you never forgave yourself for allowing someone to treat you that way. You never forgave yourself and had compassion for yourself for making the mistake of allowing someone to hurt you, allowing someone to mistreat you, and allowing someone to make you feel like a fool. And you let them, and you never forgave yourself for that. So now that's a trigger for you. Every time somebody lie on you, every time somebody treats you like you don't know what you're doing, every time somebody come at you like you stupid, you be like, never again. So right now, Alicia is going, we ain't doing this no more. The last time this happened, such and such and such and such. So we
Did you call her Alicia?
Alicia, yeah.
That's my, what do you call it, Deanna?
That's my Nicole.
Gave-
Talisha
Yes.
is my Nicole.
Yes.
By the way, y'all,
Had to give it a name.
Me and Talisha the same person. We're both Tauruses. We both born in May. Everybody got us messed up. Yeah, we the same person. We the same person. So I talk to Talisha how I talk to myself. That's why when she say get slapped, I talk to Talisha how I talk to me. Sometimes I'm kind to myself, and sometimes I go full out. Don't do that. Grace has seen it. Grace has seen it. I've talked to Grace the same way. So Talisha, you're not alone. Me and Grace have had the same conversations.
So the thing that, can I add on? Grace, I need you to tell me what you said one more time. It was one that really stuck out, and I was just like, I need to use that, and maybe I need to say it more than one time a day, because these emotions just keep going. Like, I'm fine 1 second. I was like, I got not Tourette's. What do you call it? Like, I don't even know what you call it. Like, I'm good for 1 second, and then next moment I'm just over here. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not a balance.
It's either bipolar or manic depressive. One day you're really, 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 really high. And then the next moment you just hit the ground.
Yes.
Just for today, I will let go of worries. Just for today, I will let go of anger. Just for today, I will be grateful for all my blessings. Just for today, I will be kind to every living being. Okay.
Thank you.
I sent it to you to text message.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Grace. That last sentence, though, just for today, I will be kind to every living being. Start with yourself. Oh, no. I
No,
was
not
gonna say
really.
something
Not,
inappropriate.
not really.
I was
not
wondering
really.
if she was off. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Mm,
I was like, if you homesick, I got a remedy.
no, I got a
That's what that
remedy
star
too,
is
make
for.
some money so I can leave work, but I'm gonna post this up at my window. Every time somebody come to my window and
Okay.
they just be at a level where I want to go off. Didn't you read this? Why didn't you bring, and you a paid professional? Paid professionals, they make me angry. They make me very angry. You paid to do this, bring what you need. That makes me very angry. And I think that angry is a control thing. But Talisha, we here with you. We here with you, girl. Because I just want to choke some people when I'm at work sometimes. Just put my hand through that little hole and just wring their necks. And don't stick your hand through here either. I don't want your germy hands through here. Show it to me through the through the glass.
Trust, I understand. And look, you shouldn't be reaching your hand in my private space. I will break your hand off. Don't do that. Anyway, but Talisha, that's that's why we're talking. So what triggered this was I asked Grace, because I had an inconsistency happen. And I asked Grace, I said, Grace, what do you need help with? She's like, she said something that had to do with inconsistency. And that first day I told everyone, I was like, this is inconsistent for me, because normally before I had no clue what I was going to talk about that day. And I didn't want to make mistakes. I had to be perfect, because this is Antonio's platform. This is Antonio's audience. I had to be perfect. I had to teach like him. I had to talk like him. I had to do what he do. And the inconsistency of what happened was, normally when I teach, Antonio and I sit down and we talk about what I'm going to teach about. That didn't happen. He just said, I know you got this. In my head, I'm like, no, the hell I don't. I'm happy you got confidence in me, but right now, I'm a 5-year-old kid going to kindergarten for the first time. You got me messed up. What is this? No. But in that, teach like Antonio, you can only channel him for a few minutes at a time. A few minutes at a time. Because channeling Antonio, I'm afraid. I'm afraid
That
of
is scary.
with
That is scary.
But what triggered this was the question about inconsistency, and inconsistency is a part of life. What happened to you was an inconsistency for you. But if we shift our perspectives, that inconsistency for you probably became the greatest thing that ever happened to you. But right now, because we are always becoming, something different every day. And everybody always talk about, you born this date, you died this way, what you doing with the dash? With the dash, you're always becoming. I see your hand, Trinace. With the dash, you're always becoming. So for you to feel how you feel, for you, that is natural, because that's it. You were triggered. Something happened and it triggered. And so now you're going through the emotions. Give those emotions voices. Don't just, yes, you said, I forgave him, but this is what I want to do. Okay, acknowledge that. Right now, I want to go and blow the building up. Don't say that on the recorded line. Don't do that. But acknowledge, give that emotion voice. And then say, okay, but we're not going to have an adult temper tantrum. Queen of adult temper tantrums, that's how I know. but acknowledge it. Acknowledge. Oh, hi, Natalie. But acknowledge it. And then from there, change your perspective. Yes. One of the things that I've learned, Talisha, is the universe will always do its best. The universe will not miss anything. And the universe, God, his revenge, the universe's revenge is the greatest revenge on earth. It cannot compare to anything you could do. You could absolutely file a lawsuit. You could absolutely file a lawsuit if you wanted to. But how far will that get? And how far will that get you? Because now you're stuck in the lawsuit and not in your purpose.
Watch yourself.
Whereas if you let God handle, the universe handle that, and you go live in your purpose, trust and believe, you're gonna get that ass, okay? And one of the things that I learned is you can't be careful when you do that, because the moment you get happy about what's coming their way, God will snatch his vengeance. That's in the Bible. I read it. That's how I know. When I read it, I felt some kind of way. You can ask Grace, because I had the conversation with her, because I had to ask. Because I was like, man.
That's why Uncle Jerome smiling, because he's like, yes, in there.
So I'm supposed to pretend I ain't happy?
No.
Because he know my heart. So
Don't pretend, because he know your heart. Don't pretend. If you have forgiven, let that go and focus on your purpose. Universe told Talisha, y'all, when Talisha said, universe told me what I was supposed to do, Deanna was, me and her had a whole conversation. She interrupted me when the universe interrupted our conversation. And I was like, well, there go your answer. What you gonna do? So if you live in that anger, that frustration, that passivity, your purpose is going to be delayed, not stopped, but delayed. And you're going to be the only person delaying it because you're living in what happened instead of, okay, the lesson that you were supposed to learn was learned. So now it's up to you if you're going to live in the learned aspect of the lesson, or if you're going to stay behind so that you can watch these people get, struck down. It's all on you. Depends on you. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead, Talisha. I saw you unmuted.
oh, I was just gonna say basically, I have to get away from the anger and the betrayal, whatever, and walk in love so that love can flourish in other aspects of my life and what God is calling me to do. And I feel like,
Young grasshopper.
did you just call me a grasshopper?
I said young grasshopper. That means you.
No, I'm just saying it because I get told that a lot. And that's like, wait, did Deanna just call me a grasshopper? That's why I said that. So it was just like shocking that you said it. But I need to get past, I'm trying to find a way to get past this stage so that I can move forward. Because right now, honestly, I'm in between. It's like I want to do what God has told me to do, but yet my mind's still here. I need to get away from that completely. That's why I need help. I need to get away from it.
You don't.
And I know that's only going to take time, and I can't rush that. But
You don't. Yeah,
I need to rush it.
You don't. You don't need to get away from it. But before I say anything, Trinace, you go, and then after Trinace, yes, Chef Jay, the answer is absolutely yes. So Trinace and Chef Jay, we're coming back to you, Talisha.
So when I called in today, I intended to say nothing today. I did not even intend to turn my screen on today.
She pulled at your heartstrings, Trinace. She pulled at.
Man, this is so good. because we all deal with this on a regular basis. And I think it's good, Talisha, that you can call Deanna, because we need somebody that's not gonna just listen, but sometimes help us move through that next thing. We need that. I've been having some stuff at work, and I'm like, ugh. I just ignored her. I just forgave her and moved on until we went into the office, and she was talking about, the people heard you say that you wasn't going to go back and forth with me. I'm not. It wasn't no secret. I ain't whisper it. The Bible say when you argue with a fool, you the fool too. And the office manager, he laughed. And now, I deal with her in my own way. It's so fake, but it helps me operate in love. It helps me because I can forgive her. Her behavior is her behavior. If she's stupid like that, she got issues at work, at home, then them issues she bring to work. That's her stuff. So I just try to navigate my stuff. You doing a good job, Talisha. You are doing a good job, girl. You are doing a great job. Some days you want to kick people in their ankle. Sometimes you want to bash them in the face. Just have that thought and then just smile and keep on going. You got this. That's all. But you got it, girl. You got it. I call that heifer Lady Amanda every day. And she be smiling. I even offered her some of my positive energy tea. Trinace, is it really good? Yes, mix it with some honey. And that's my love. That's my love walk. I understand you got issues, but you helping me work through mine. Just keep on going. Just imagine punching her or him in their face. Every time it well up in you, just crash them and then just smile and keep on going. You got it. Soon you won't have to hit them so many times in your mind. Maybe it starts off at 5 and then it goes down to 4. You got it.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you.
Go ahead, Chef Jay. Ooh, you had Trinace and Chef Jay.
Good morning. I'm like Trinace. I was not going to get on the call. I was not going to say anything this morning. I kind of overslept. But as soon as I got on the phone, I heard you talking to Alicia, and it was just like, dang, like she's saying everything you were saying was literally me at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of the year. Like I was a self-sabotager all day, every day. I was too hard on myself. And I feel like sometimes we're too hard on ourselves. Like you don't supposed to be hard on yourself the way that we are. And we miss enjoying life, if that makes sense. Anger, and my mentor gave me a book, and soon as he tell me what the book is, I'm going to send it over to you. It's okay to be angry. That's what I've learned. You can be mad all day. God allow us to be angry. It's what you do with your anger that turns it into a sin. So it's okay to be angry. And emotions, that's something that I just had to go through literally. I've learned it's all about controlling your emotions. And you know what that is? It's a test. That test gonna come back every single time until you get it right. Don't be hard on yourself, but hold yourself accountable. Because it's us. When you're angry, you block stuff. When you allow your anger to come over and control your mind or your emotions, you're blocking stuff. Everything that we ask God for is you have it. Like I was on a call with Antonio last week because I called him because I was like, I messed up my vibration. And that's because I got angry. The man pissed me off at Sam's Club and I egged his window. So, and it's just like, I get mad, but sometimes, most of the times I'm just like, Jaya, let it go. And the crazy part about it is, and we all talk to ourselves, I'm gonna be real, we do. So he pissed me off, and I was like, I'm about to egg his car. My mind said, egg his car. And the nice side of me said, Jaya, it's not even worth it. So I said out loud, because I knew that was the spirit of God. I said out loud, nah, I got time today. I'm egging his car. And when I got out my car to get in the trunk to get the eggs, the lady came to me and she said, baby, it's not even worth it. And she grabbed my wrist, and I knew that was the spirit of God. And I told her, ma'am, today is the day, because I got time. And I did it. And that, I allowed my anger to take over. But one thing about me, I used to feel bad for being angry. This time I didn't feel bad. I owned it. So I feel like me owning it was like, okay, you're not guilt tripping yourself, you know, so like, you know, you did bad, but like, I don't know. But it's just like, one thing that my mom used to say is misery love company. They do. They do. Anger love company. You don't want to sit with them. Like, you don't want to be angry. Like, you don't want to be angry. Like, I used to cry to God at the beginning of my spiritual journey, and I was just like, why am I so angry? Like, why am I so mad? Like, why is it so easy? Because it's easy. It's easy. Doing the right thing is hard. Walking with God is hard. And I was on a call with my auntie yesterday, and she said something remarkable to me. She was like, I've been trying to figure out how God is the Holy Spirit, how God, it was Jesus. And she said, you know, God came down here in the form of human. And he didn't pick the lavish lifestyle. He went through the grimy lifestyle. He didn't have all that nice stuff. Jesus wasn't attractive. He was a carpenter, like they said, like he was a servant. Like, and it's just like, if he could do that, why can't we? Like, your emotions is just your emotions. Like, and I tell myself today, like, you know what? I am angry. I acknowledge it, or I'm not feeling it today. And I say, well, you know what? I ain't gonna feel like this too long. So either if I can't control them to the point to go out into the world, I don't. I sit in the house. But what I've learned, I like outside, and not outside to party. Like, I like walking the trails. I like sun gazing. So it's like, when I go outside, I feel better. So Talisha, if you're in the house, go outside. You will feel better. And our anger is what I was saying, like, it blocks us. You don't know who you can meet when you go outside. You know what I'm saying? God be want to change your world and lead you into stuff, but we be so angry. Like, we be angry, and it's us. Like, it literally us. It's us. We're the ones who hold everything back. God waiting on us. We keep saying, well, God's time is perfect. It is perfect, but the reason why it's so perfect is because he's waiting on us to get right. And what I was saying to Antonio last week, I kept saying, like, why? I work so hard in my business. Like, I do. I know I'm good. Why am I not there? And I said, after he asked me a series of questions, my brain clicked. It said, I have sent you people. You pushed them away with your self-sabotaging. You pushed them away with your attitude. I sent you good people, but you keep pushing them away because you don't believe in you. You just think everything's supposed to be perfect. And I'm telling you, I will take shit and turn it into gold. And he do. Like, we think in our mind, like, it got to be perfect. God say, no, I take the worst of the worst and I make it the best of the best. All I need you to do is show up and be prepared. You gonna suffer. You gonna fight off demons. But guess what? I gave you the word to fight off the demons. I gave you the word. That's how you say the word. If you learn the word, that's how you fight them off. Everything is in that book. Like, it's in that book, and that's why he left it. That's our God. And he is here. We just, in our mind, we want him to be here physical. No, he's here. He's spirit. He's conscious. Like, he's around us, and he do. But if you anger, if you self-sabotaging, if you think you know it all, you're going to miss it. God is silent. He's so small. If you don't pay attention, you'll miss it. And that's what I've learned. And that's what helped me with my self-sabotaging. It's like, girl, put on your big girl panties and you about to fight. Like, you about to be aware. That's all I'm saying. Like, be aware and pray for discernment. When you pray for discernment, he'll show you and you won't even be mad. You'll be like, man, I'm glad you showed me this because now I know better, if that makes sense. But like Trinae said, you're doing a great job. You got this. And when you make it to the other side, you gonna high-five yourself like, girl, I got this. You know what I'm saying? I talk to myself as the B-I-T-C-H, but you gonna be, girl, you got this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, did this. Look at me. You got it. And you gonna just keep fighting and tell your emotions. And even if you have to say it out loud, because I talk to myself out loud. Not today. I know how you feel, but that's just how I feel, and it's not right. And we not doing this. You see where we just came from? You see we've been sitting in the pits of hell. We ain't going there no more. We going the hard route, and God is right here with us, and we gonna get through this. So buckle it up and take this ride. So that is my advice to you.
It's okay. I'll unmute and say thank you. Thank you, Chef Jay. Thank you, Trinae. Boy, she said I talked to myself out loud.
Yes, thank you.
I had a whole conversation with myself yesterday out loud. I was like,
Deanna,
yes, sir.
Deanna,
Go ahead,
I
Uncle Ron.
gotta make one comment. When Chef Jay said, I got time, I said, oh hell no. It's over there. I love that. No. I got time today. Thank you, Chef Jay. Thank you.
Man, look, I was right there with you, Uncle Rebel. when you have decided, I got time today. It's over. It's done. It's a done deal. That other voice can talk to you all day, every day. Be like, no, don't do it. We don't want to do that no more. The moment you say, I got time today, it's a done deal. It's over. Go ahead, Talisha.
I have a question for Phil and Susan. Because I kind of feel like we're kind of in the same field when it comes to trying to help employees and the corporate world. My question to you guys is, how can we really get our messages across to them when they're the ones that's doing the most dirt and the most harm to people? And HR is not for the employees. They're actually for the employer. And on top of that, I want to ask, we're sending these kids, these teens, these young adults that are about to become adults, and they're fit to enter this world, and we tell them we give them all the skills they need to succeed, but then we have people like what Chef Jay was saying and Trey Nace was saying and I was saying, they come into your life and we try to implement our ways of doing the right thing and we still get hurt. How do we, because that's one thing I want to be able to tell these kids, that in the corporate world, it's not going to be peaches and cream. You're going to deal with hard people and sometimes you're going to lose a battle, so I hope my question was clear, or if you need me to repeat it, I can.
I love it. Y'all are wonderful. Oh, you're muted, Miss Susan.
You watch movies and things on television about corporate world and what goes on, and it is true. It can be cutthroat depending on where you work, and manipulating and so forth. But then there are definitely organizations that are not like that at all. I say Disney is the best model to follow, because they came in and did a 2-day event, at the Les Brown thing when I was working there, and the top people and how they treat their people. And it's very important to them. They want them to be happy, and they do train corporate people to do this. So, that's one thing when you apply for jobs, you want to be, you want your antennas up to see what it's like, what that environment is like. And those definitely are things that we've gone in and helped people with. But it's usually the people that really want it. They want this for the team. The people that don't are resistant. And
Alicia, where do you live?
Go ahead.
Where do you live?
I'm in Texas with Deanna and them.
You're in Galveston?
Oh, no, no, I'm Sugarland area. That's that. What is that, Deanna? Yeah, like 45 minutes, 30 minutes away.
About 45 minutes, depending on traffic and the route you take.
Well, and you're in human resources?
No, accounting.
Oh, accounting. Okay. Well, first of all, keep walking the talk. Second, keep your resume updated. Now, are you involved in any sort of an association like these?
You say, am I involved in any association like what again?
Like the Ohio, well, in Ohio, we had the Ohio Society of CPAs.
Oh, like the accounting, no.
Okay, well, that's one thing you might want to do, because associations are great environments, because you can go there, you're in the same industry that you're in, and you're getting to learn people, they're getting to know you, and you're getting to know them. You just need to find the right organization. They're out there. Now, when we started Humor Consultants in 1981, Reagan fired all the air traffic controllers. So we're coming to the marketplace, care for your people, create a nurturing environment, be loving, forgiving, and grateful. They go, oh, get away from me, kid, you bother me. But we knew that was the right thing to do. How I learned this, when I became assistant manager of a fast food restaurant when I was 16 years old, and I was 5'1", and I looked like I was 11. I couldn't be autocratic. I couldn't be dictatorial. They'd have thrown me in the dumpster bin. They would have locked me in the cooler. So that's where I learned to make work fun and be loving, forgiving, and grateful, and create that environment. And, hey, let's do this together. If we're going to be here, let's have fun doing it. Why not? And I just learned it because I had to survive. And then I realized, hey, this is a good way to run your life and run your business. So, again, keep walking the talk, keep studying that stuff. We can talk later. Some books to read, go to YouTube, listen to some stuff there, and then keep your resume updated. Because those companies are out there, and they're the successful ones. The companies that have care about employee engagement, care about who's number one, the customer, then who's number two, anybody that touches the customer, and the boss is down here. Those are the good companies. Look for companies that are owned by the employee-owned, ESOPs. These are companies that, ESOPs, employee, what is it ESOP stands for? Stock owners. The company's owned by the employees. They're called ESOPs. Look for those organizations. Get out into the community. Do you have a local chamber of commerce?
Yes, I've been a part of several of those.
Sure. And how did you find that out? How did that work out for you?
I think I got that through Deanna, y'all. I think the first time I heard about it was with you guys. And so I did the one in A-Leaf, the Greater Houston Chambers of Commerce. It's several that I've been a part of.
So
but I honestly, I feel I want to get away, honestly, from corporate and just go back to my desire of what God wants me to do, to be honest with you. Because when I look,
Continue.
Oh no, because I was just saying, like, as I look for other jobs, it just make me sick to my stomach. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a sickening feeling I get, and I'm just like, why you keep doing this when you got so much more to offer, and so many other people you can help.
Have you done the standout assessment from Marcus Buckingham?
No, I haven't touched it. After all this stuff going on, I have time today. What Chef Jay said, I got time. I got time.
You go to marcusbuckingham.com. and it analyzes what your strengths are, and then say, based on this strength, this is what role you need to be in to leverage your strengths. And who else on this call has done that? And tell Talisha what you experienced by doing that.
I found it, what it does is it really does help you narrow down like who you are. Like it'll tell you if you are a connector teacher, or I'm just throwing connections out there. And if you know that you are a connector teacher, it helps you when you approach anything that you do. So like, let's say I'm a connector teacher, which means I love to teach. It's how my light shines out, but I'm also a connector. So while I'm teaching, after I teach someone, I may break down. It's like, you know what, you should really contact Trinace. Trinace will be really good because she's great at this. And you two, I think you two will vibe real good because you got a good energy. Like, so, but if I didn't know that, then what comes naturally to me, what I was told as a kid I should not do, I would stop. So take that assessment. Look, Grace is a pioneer stimulator. That she will take risk. I didn't read up what stimulator is, but I know as a pioneer, she will take risk. So, but it lets you know who you are, and it makes you more comfortable with walking into who you are, because you have a better understanding of, okay, this is who I am. So now that I know who I am, I know how to approach the rest of my purpose.
Great explanation. Grace, what do you got to say about it?
Yes, when you take the assessment and you get your results and you read about yourself, it's like, man, Marshall Buckingham got me tied to it. They got me down to a science. He's like, that's right. And when you read about yourself, you don't think about it until you read it. You're like, yeah, I do that. Yeah, that's me. And so when it said pioneer stimulator, I was like, what? And it goes through, it tells you in rank order your strength roles, and it's the first two are what they tell you, your true strengths really are. And listen, yeah, okay, I'll just read the pioneer and the stimulator. Be like, yeah, that's me. Pioneers see the world as a friendly place where around every corner good things will happen. Their distinctive power starts with their optimism in the face of uncertainty. Stimulators are the hosts of others' emotions. They feel responsible for them, for turning them around, for elevating them. And that is me, okay? Because it will tell you if I feel something is off with it, then you all right? And she'll say, no, but I will be. I just leave it at that. Because I'm like that with anybody. If you want me to know, you'll tell me. I don't prim and pry and no, come on, tell me what's wrong. No, I don't do that. But when I feel that people are not happy, they're not, where they normally are, I start to get that same feeling. And I'm like, I don't want that feeling. And so we're gonna get you out of this. So I don't feel that, okay? So, because I want people to be where they should be, where they want to be, and not, in that bad mood. I do that with my family all the time. When I feel like I feel my sister, it gets a little heated or whatever, I just be a little silent and let it pass. And then I start messing with her, talking to her, and then she's back at making jokes and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, that assessment, it will really help.
Anybody else got anything they want to share who's done the assessment? Yeah, start there. First thing it does, it makes you feel good about you. So, to quote that great philosopher, Porky Pig, da-dee. That's all, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Phil. Thank you, Miss Susan, Talisha. That was kudos to you for asking the question. Another person you might want to reach out to is Miss Adonia. She is for us, she is the HR person, but she is the HR person that's for the people. So I would also reach out to her and ask her. I've only met 2 people that have been in human resources that was actually for the people of the company and not for the company.
You know, I
Deanna, that
wanted
was
to add
sweet
to
of you.
that. Oh, go ahead, Adonia.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, I purposely didn't say anything because I do know how people feel about HR, but my thought is this: HR is a department. It's the people in the department that make or break it. So when you hear the word HR, people get, throat starts swallowing hard and whatever, because you do think, and technically, it's built for the company, right? But it's really not. It's not supposed to be. And if you have a different mindset and emotional intelligence, I care. And because I care, I'm not a typical HR person, which trips people up a little bit. And I don't say that arrogantly, I say that very humbly. HR is supposed to make sure policies and procedures are followed and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I get that. And there's a reason, because companies have to function and want to make things legal and don't want to have the problems and what have you. However, it's the people that are the humans that make the resources that get the companies what they need, right? They're the resources for the company. So I'm taking care of my resources, just like my kid. I'm going to take care of my kid if I want my kid to be a good human being. And so I tend to like human beings, and I see the gift and the good things in human beings. So I treat them that manner. So I'm not different or special per se. I just know how people see HR, and I want to ensure them when you come to me, and employees really do come to HR. That's not very often because, people don't like to deal with us, but they don't come to HR. They come to a department that I happen to sit in because I'm a human being that they know will listen to them and try to guide them. I say that humbly. I'm not arrogant when I say that. I really do care about people. And if I can help a person because people helped me along my way, that's my job. That's my job.
All right, Miss Adonia.
And that's why when she goes out and puts her shingle out, her first client is going to be where she works now.
They gonna have her on her retainer, and she gonna be like, "Oh, okay, thank you, I appreciate you." Oh, Trinae
Alicia,
says, "Oh, go ahead."
I've been wanting to ask you this. Do you work from home or at location?
Well, I don't work there anymore, okay? But it was supposed to be a hybrid situation where some 3 days out the week in the office and 2 days at home. But because I was still in the training part of it, they couldn't let me do the hybrid situation until I was fully trained. But we didn't make it that far.
Yeah, I was thinking because, there's so many other things that you want to do. You might want to look for something that's a work from home.
That's
So
what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Susan.
so that you can still do this and the things that you want to do.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Susan. That was something that was rolling in my head. I was just like, what are some accounting jobs that are remote and you can work any state? You know what I mean? That's what I'm geared towards,
Yeah.
and still be able to do my business on the side.
Yeah.
And still be a full-time mom.
And have a why it's good to have something, because it's always easier to get another job when you already have one. Always easier to get another job when you already have one, because they ask you, where'd you last work? I work here. You don't work there now. Well, why don't you work there now? And then you got to get into that conversation. I work here, and please don't contact them because I don't want them to know that I'm looking. I'm out looking. So when you have a job, that insulates you from them concepting where you're working, because that would not work out well. So if you can get some even part-time job, so as you're looking for another opportunity. Also, do you know any other entrepreneurs around?
Yes, several.
Because they all need accounting.
Well, the thing that the thing that you said that, really stands out, and for everyone, because, you're working remotely, you have the whole country to look at, and there are great jobs out there working remotely. And so, start checking those.
Definitely will. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Phil, as well.
All right. Love it, love it. But no, the great, wonderful asking questions. Wonderful asking questions. Man, my brain, I just had a brain fart. Okay, here we go. So thank you. First off, thank you, Talisha, for your transparency. Thank you, Trinace. Thank you, Chef Jay. Thank you, Mr. Phil. Thank you, Miss Susan. Thank you, Miss Adonia. Thank all of y'all. Antonia always said you haven't mastered it until you can teach it. Well, hell, I didn't know I needed to master it until I started teaching it. Let me tell y'all something, okay? But no, I'm loving it because in talking with, so I had to do a few things in order to do this. First, I had to overcome my insecurities to even get a topic to talk about. Then I had to overcome my fears to even talk about it. And then I had to embrace who I am, to be transparent and talk about it. Because there is no way I could do this. And all of these are inconsistencies. But instead of me making these inconsistencies toxic in my life, I decided to use the lessons that I've learned and grow from them. And I read this book. I need to get the one Mr. Phil said get, but the last astrology book you'll ever read. I need to get that one. But there's this book on astrology that I read, and in reading it, it made so much make sense to me. The universe has its own heartbeat. The ebb and flow, the ups and downs. And the universe has its heartbeat, and we have ours. So we live day by day with multiple inside of a heartbeat with our heartbeat, our inhale and exhale, as you would say. So just like the universe has its up and down, that's the wonderful thing about astrology. When you sit and you study astrology, you actually learn a lot about yourself. And you learn a lot about this beautiful existence that God has created. So the inconsistencies are just none other than the downbeat of the heartbeat, if that makes sense. You got your ups, you got your downs, your peaks and your valleys, as Mr. Spencer would put it, which is a wonderful book. If you have not read Peaks and Valleys, it's about this big, but it will bust you in the back of your head. Okay. Peaks and Valleys is wonderful. With that being said, when you shift your perspectives on your mistakes and you don't consider your mistakes to be deadly to your life, but a lesson to learn, if you take your mistakes and the inconsistencies and you learned from them, like, okay, what is the lesson that I need to learn from this? Okay, cool, got it. Let me not do that again. There's one thing that Antonio taught me, that when it comes up, it's like, duh, like, yeah, that makes sense. Or when I remember it, I'm like, okay, just remember, you just made a wrong turn. We were driving to an event. It was one of Hockley's Christmas events. And we were meeting the U-Haul so we can follow the U-Haul because Antonio was recording. And I made a wrong turn. Now, mind you, this wrong turn that I took would have taken us to where it wouldn't have taken us to where we needed to go. It was a detour, but I thought that turn would lead out to where we were going. When all that turn did was take me from this point of the street, and it did this and just connected me further up. So I took the long way. He was like, why don't you just turn back around? He's like, it's a shorter distance if you turn back around to get back on the path than it is to keep going down this path just to get back to the path you were already on.
Always teaching.
Always. So I say that to tell you all, when you make a wrong turn, it's okay. It's not a mistake. You just made a wrong turn. Go ahead and U-turn and go back to where you started and just keep moving forward from there. And that sounds like the easiest thing in the world to do. But when you got time today, nope. When they got you messed up, nope. Houston is the city of U-turns. Let me tell you something. Literally, Houston is the city of U-turns. And Talisha, Trinace, and Chef Jay, they live in Houston too. Different parts of Houston, because you know, you from Sugarland. One of them is up there somewhere. Like Humble or something. I can't remember. But they out there. And Tracy's in Houston too. So those three women are local. And I think it would be great if all four of y'all would go have a lunch. I think that'd be awesome. Y'all learn a lot from each other. A whole lot. Go ahead, Mr. Phil.
You mentioned astrology.
Yes. That book. Oh, I do have that book now. I forgot I purchased it. Thank you. That's the one. That's a good one. Antonio read it. I need to read it. I actually need to finish a book. But and
who wrote it's a personal friend of mine. So I met him in 1974.
Yeah. Thank you.
Who was the author?
Ron Watson. It's called The Greatest Story Never Told. It's like psychology, philosophy, and theology all in one. It talks about how they all connect with each other.
Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Phil. Grace, no, we don't mind traveling. Oh, and Don and I have set a schedule. So we will start our reading today. So we can have our let's study a book with the Sorrentinos. Look, he saw the book and he was like, is it a lot of words? I'm like, little boy. I said, I will read it to you, okay?
Well, have a notebook. Get a notebook and let him have his own notebook and put a date in. By the way, the other people may not know what we're talking about.
Oh, yes. So, Mr. Phil recommended that Dawn and I, that's not what I was looking to do. There it is. How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci. The 7 Steps to Genius Every Day. And Mr. Phil recommended that me and Dawn read it, and then we get with Mr. Phil and Miss Susan, and we have our own little let's study a book together, because Mr. Phil would like Dawn's perspective on it. Thank you for the notebook idea, because I actually kind of sort of pushed some journaling on Dawn. Not to you're gonna do this, but I recognized that he was going through some things that he couldn't put into words to tell me. So I told him, just write it down. I would say, write down why you got angry. And also for me, so I could take a peek in his brain. So mommy could see what was going on. And then he also, we did a full moon ceremony with Antonio via Zoom with everyone. And he sat right next to me. He meditated with me. He took his little journal and he wrote out the stuff that he wanted to let go of. So I'm pushing him. I'm not pushing, but I'm getting him to write out more. So thank you for that. I'm actually going to go get him his own little
Tell them what made me suggest this book to you. What happened? You remember?
No, I don't remember. Please remind me.
What did he get? What award did he get last year?
Oh, last year he received an award for, the year before that it was for being the best artist. And last year, I forgot which one it was.
Science.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
And the person that I know that's taken science and art together is Leonardo da Vinci. So just when you sit down in the book, just having go through the book, and what I do with the book, when I get a book, I look at the index, I read the index, and then first of all, I look at the table of content and I read that. Then I go back and look at the index and read that. And that kind of gives me an overall look at what the book's like.
Oh.
But tell him this notebook he's going to create, he'll have it for the rest of his life if he wants it, because that's what we're going to do. And just have him flip through it. Don't give him any agenda. Just have him flip through it and say, what stood out? What'd you see when you did it?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And the way you look at, I never thought to look at a book how you look at it. And now I'm like, wait a minute, that makes, ooh. Oh, sorry, I got distracted.
Squirrel. Come on, shiny things. Come on, shiny things.
It has pictures. Like I did this before, but I just kind of skimmed through. But I like, this is awesome. Oh, there's drawings. Oh, he's gonna love this. A simple starting point. Actual drawing. Oh, he's gonna love it. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Uncle Rodney Rose.
You're muted.
No, I was speaking for you. I digress. You know,
Oh,
like,
thank you.
uh,
Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna have fun with this. Both of us, and you know what? It would be an exciting journey to actually read a book with him of this caliber, and to have him write out his thoughts on it. And then I'm gonna go get both of us our own little, designer journals. It'll be a big deal to me. Him probably not so much, but get our own little personal designer journals to go with the book. So that way we both have our own little journal, and that would be that's
yeah. On the cover, the subtitle is 7 Steps to Genius Every Day.
Yes.
And then it says, by captivating the very essence of DeMarchi's life and genius, Michael Gelba guides us in a discovery and understanding of the boundless of our own human full potential power.
Oh yeah. And that was from Deepak Chopra. Oh wow. So yeah, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna have fun with this. But and so thank you, Mr. Phil, for bringing that up, because this leads me to shifting perspectives. See, if I would have, I'm going to speak for myself. As a mom, I question myself daily. There's inconsistencies in being a parent, period. And so the mistakes that I have made raising him, I have to shift my perspective on those, because when I was teaching him and the things that he learned indirectly, directly and indirectly from me, were doing the stages that I was growing while raising him. So for me to even be to a point where I'm even willing to read this book with him is me stepping back and saying, okay, because I used to read with my mom, but we used to read side by side with our own books. We never actually read a book together. Well, when she picked up on the fact that I was reading over her shoulder, and the books that she was reading, I should not have been reading over her shoulder. So she bought me my own books so I could start reading over her shoulder. Let me tell y'all something, them Harlequin books, woo! As a kid, my brain was like, what did she just say? I'm not supposed to read this. I'm not supposed to read this, but I can't stop. Okay. But it showed when you have when you have compassion for yourself, your actions reflect your thoughts. I think so highly of Mr. Phil that I'm definitely going to do this with Dawn. But if I was a control freak when it came to my son, we'd do it on my terms. Not only that, Dawn would not be open to it because I would have pushed him away from it. Because it would have been like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But when I came at him like, hey, Mr. Phil, the book came in that Mr. Phil and Miss Susan, and he smiled. He's like, okay, of course he was on his tablet at the time. So I had like 20% of his attention. Yeah. But I was like, and I was like, oh, look, I even did this. I was like, look at all the pictures. And he was like, oh, okay, mommy. But I was like, hey, we're going to do this together, okay? Because you're mommy's genius. He's like, okay, mommy. He said, can you just read it to me though? I was like, yes, mommy can read it to you. But if I lived in the inconsistencies of parenthood, we wouldn't even have this book. If I lived in the mistakes that I made and I did not shift my perspective, that conversation would have went a lot different. I had to have compassion for myself as a parent so that I can show compassion, not even as a parent. I had to have compassion for myself as a human being in order for me to even show compassion to my 8-year-old kid and not force on him and make something unfun for him. My daughter don't like me reading to her anymore. She feels like she's grown out of that stage. She'd rather read it herself. Then you can start a book club. Buy the same book she reading and be like, you know what? Mommy wants to read this book with you. So I'm going to go get me a copy and you go get your copy. And we'll talk about chapter 1 at the end of the week. How about that? I wish Dawn would read, but he is definitely a technology kid, because I'm like, oh, read this book. He's like, mommy, it has too many words. And I'm like, what do you mean? Too many words.
Miss
Oh.
Deanna, have y'all seen the commercial with the Hooked on Phonics, where the mom is trying to get her children to read, and so the little girl asked the mom, she's like, Mom, how do you pronounce this word? Right? And the mom was just like, why don't you sound it out? Right? So the girl gets the computer. She's like, Alexa, how do you say this? The mom got so upset. She ripped the computer out of the thing and threw the computer outside. She was like, we cannot have this. Alexa, you gonna ask Alexa to sound it out for you?
Dawn has been having conversations via text message before he learned how to read. And I was wondering how I was getting these text messages from him. I mean, full out sentences, correct spelling and all that. And I'm like, oh, I'm sitting here being a proud mama, like, okay, cool, baby. No, I've sat here and watched him have a full conversation with people.
But that's a still make you.
It does. It does now, because now when he has a full conversation, he understands the words, like the spelling of them and everything. Because I'll hear him, because he does the voice to text. So I'll hear him say something and I'll be like, who are you talking to? Is your video on? Is your microphone on? He's like, no, mommy, I'm texting. I was like, oh, okay. But now what he does is he'll say the word, and if it doesn't come out like because of his pronunciation, he'll say, "Hey mom, can you spell this for me?" And I'll tell him, sound it out. And so he'll say it while he's talking to see how it's spelled out. And then I recognize he goes back later, but that's how, if I was stuck in living in my insecurities, that would have been a problem for me. I would have shut it down. I'd be like, nope, you got to do this. You got to do it this way. But him learning his way, we pulled up to park somewhere, and he read the parking sign. I'm like, okay. And I know I didn't teach him, but he sounded it out. He sounded it out as he was talking. Your insecurities make your mistakes seem insurmountable. I think that's the right word. I think I used the right word. And when you live in that, it becomes toxic for you. Mr. Phil, I see you unmuted. Go ahead.
Every summer in grade school, I had to take reading because I'm ADD and dyslexic. And way back then, when I was in grade school, they didn't even know what it was. So literally every summer I had to go to reading. I had to take reading in the summer because I'm ADD and dyslexic, and they had no idea what to do with that.
Wow. I'll ask off camera. No, because I've been picking up some things with Dawn that I've noticed. It doesn't bother him, but I don't know if it bothers him because I never asked him about it. And I didn't want to drop a seed of insecurity in him without first.
Well, first of all, being ADD is not a deficit. We're hunter-gatherers in a farmer's world. So we become entrepreneurs, criminals, lawyers, policemen, firemen, race car drivers. We like the action. We like the endorphins. We'll pull the pigtail of the girl in front of us just to make a noise because our serotonin levels are dropping, and we need something to re-stimulate us. So we're hunter-gatherers in a farmer's world. You know, farmers are planting the spring, maintaining the summer, harvesting the fall. And we're going, man, this is going too slow for me. I got to do something to shake this up. So they've relabeled it, and they've looked at it in a different way. So it's not a deficit. It's not a disorder. We're just different than the hunter-gatherer people.
Gotcha. Thank you. He also, well, yeah, because I noticed in his vocabulary last year, when he's spelling words, he leaves out the vowel. And some letters he flips. But when I look at it, for some reason in my head, it makes sense why he wrote it that way. I know he spelled it wrong. The teacher marked it wrong, but in my head, it makes sense because when he sounded it out, that's what it sounded like. So that's what he wrote down. But he leaves out vowels and he flips letters.
I literally went to my teacher once and asked, how do you spell the? T-H-A-A. It doesn't look right. The, I know how to spell T-H-E, but the T-H-A, that doesn't look right. So how do you spell the? I remember asking my teacher that.
You just made something else make sense to me. Thank you so much. Because he will ask me how to spell the little words. Like he asked me how to spell the one time. And I was like, you know how to spell it. Like it was one of his words on his vocabulary test, on his spelling test that he actually passed. But when he came to me, he was like, can you spell it for me? I was like, sound it out. And he was like, T-H-A. I'm like, no. He's like, I was like, okay, thank you. You have made so much make sense for me. Thank you so much. Now I have a better way to approach him with that. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Phil. Because I just noticed it. I noticed things looking at his And as the year progressed, he started missing more words. And I knew they were, and I knew they were words he knew because we went through the whole flashcard situation. Like we did like over 100 flashcards just for him to, so, but thank you. But I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me on this morning. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, we will be talking about, I'm going to give you a topic, Grace. Tomorrow morning, we will be discussing overcoming fear of failure, the role and the role of resilience. Probably get through those two. But Grace, you want to tell us what's going on tonight?
I'm about to pass it to one of the greatest teachers, Mr. Phil. Mr. Phil, what we do today?
We're going to be finishing The Politics of Love by Marianne Williamson. And we're going to tell, I gave them an assignment last week. How many times did you see Marianne Williamson this next week? Was it in Facebook? Was it in Instagram? We asked that. And this is To Be Again, the choice before us. So we're in the last chapter of the book, and then we're going to decide what book we're going to do next. And I'm voting for Return to Love. That's her interpretation of A Course in Miracles. But that's my vote for tonight. But come with what book we're going to do next. We'll let the group decide.
Sweet.
That's at 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. And then at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, we have the Humor Consultant Show, aka Wins and Challenges, where we celebrate each other's wins and then help each other with our challenges so that they can turn into wins for the next week. Come on, join
And
us.
Talisha, can you be on the call tonight? The Wins and Challenges.
Yes, I definitely will. I was just texting Deanna to find out how do I get on, and so I was just talking about
If
that.
you don't
I'll
mind,
send you-
I want you to report what you got. You did your standout assessment. What do you think of your standout assessment?
Okay.
That's your assignment for the call tonight.
I definitely will. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Oh, so what Antonio had been telling you guys, he had a meeting that he had to fly out to. So send him some positive energy and positive vibes because he is wrecking it in a good way. Thank you all so much for joining me this. Oh, yes, ma'am, Miss Grace.
Last thing, if you have not gotten your tickets to August 17th, okay? August 17th event. I know I got the link somewhere. I just can't remember where I put it, what I did with it. You got it, D.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up now. Give me 1 second.
And it's online, so you don't have to travel to Texas. If you want to just come see us, come on. But it's online, it's an online event, and you can register for it today. I sent
Here's the link right here.
everyone.
It's
in
the
the-
Exploring
That's it. Exploring alignment. Yes.
Conference. Thank you, Grace. Come on, Grace.
Exploring Alignment Conference. Go ahead and get your ticket. It's only $49. Okay. Go read the description. The first, I think, 2 sentences got me. I was like, yeah, I gotta be there. Okay. So
Well,
you don't want to miss this one. And if you know people, say, you know what? So and so needs to be at this event too. Tell them, hey, come on, you come to this event with me. It's online, so you don't have to leave home if you don't want to. Okay.
Nope.
So if you want to be a friend and pay for their ticket, you can. But if you was like, hey, come on, it's only $49, come on. So whatever you want to do, but come on to this event. I heard Rome and some other people already got their tickets already. So they ahead of the game. They ready. Okay. So go ahead and get your tickets and we will see you there.
yes.
all I got.
And then not only that, you get the video for lifetime. So not only do you get to experience it in person, but you can also take the video with you. So if you need to go back and you need to watch it again, you can go back and watch it again. You can go back, if you ever need like a surge of inspiration or a surge of energy, or you just need a reminder, you can go back to you. Now, a private conference link will be provided 72 hours before the event. Again, it's on August 17th. I need to update my calendar. August 17th is on a Sunday. August 17th is on a Sunday. Oh, and also before we hang up, I want to put this out there today, just in case. Mr. Phil, Miss Susan, we need your cash out. Tomorrow's Mr. Phil's birthday. So there's Mr. Phil, Miss Susan, make sure y'all send either me or Grace your cash app so we can post it up, because tomorrow is August 1st.
That's
and
it.
Tomorrow's Mr. Phil's birthday, and Grace's comes 11 days after that.
That's it. The August 17th is a Thursday.
It's a Thursday? What calendar?
It's a Thursday. I don't know. What is it's on a Thursday?
Oh, girl, I'm all the way in September. No wonder why.
It's all right.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
a
James
Thursday, y'all. Well, we thank all of you. Thank you, Chef Jay. I see that. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Trinace, it is online. So you can either come in person or be online, but come. And if you have someone around you, I've noticed that you can, as I become a little more aware in things, I notice that you know the people around you who would be open to a conversation like this. Those are the people you invite. Don't do to them what others did to you, which is when they become a certain level of awareness, they just like shove it in your face, like, you should do this, you should do this, you should do that. Don't do that to them because you're excited. Go with what Spirit tells you, and Spirit will let you know when it's time and be like, hey, you should come to this with me, and purchase the ticket for them. Purchase the ticket for them, because if you leave it up to them, they ain't gonna do it. Y'all remember how we started off. Y'all remember how we all started off. We ain't too brand new. And that's one of those things of when you have self-compassion, you show compassion to others. So when they say, girl, I ain't doing that, then you will be a little bit more to, you know what, you show right. It's okay. I'll catch you on the next one. But thank you all so much for joining us. You can plant better. You can dominate. Love you all. See you tonight at 5:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Bye.
Love you more.
Love you more.